Ramaiya Sahab, Parmeshwar ji, Shiv Kumar ji, all of us are here today to highlight a simple thing. How to steal an election. If you want to learn, then the 40% Commission Sarkar, which has stolen the money of people of Karnataka, is now attempting to perfect under Mr. Basavaraj Bommai the art of stealing the right of electorate to vote. I want to tell all fellow Kannadigas, your vote, your right to elect a representative is now being stolen by Mr. Basavaraj Bommai and his government. Fraud, impersonation, stealing voter data, and conspiracy of Mr. Bommai and BBMP now stands exposed with documentary evidence. Election process is now being corrupted by the 40% Commission Sarkar. Shocking expose has now revealed that those sitting in the citadels of power, including the Chief Minister, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, they are overtly and covertly responsible for theft of voter data, for fraud and impersonation. Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, his officials, his government officers, BBMP people and the election authority in Karnataka, they are all partners in crime, in trampling democracy and in stealing people's right to vote. That's the summary of our submissions before people of Karnataka today through you. And there are some facts I want to give to you. Chief Minister Mr. Basavaraj Bommai is in charge minister for BBMP. Chief Commissioner of BBMP, Mr. Tushar Girinath, is also the electoral officer for Bangalore. So he is CM and minister in charge, he is Chief Commissioner of BBMP and election officer both. A private entity by the name of Chilume Educational Institute, I'll call it a private entity, they apply for permission to conduct voter awareness. Sure enough, first permission is given for Mahadevpura assembly and then for all 28 assemblies in the Bangalore by a government order of 20th of August 2022, a copy of which we are sending to you. The most intriguing part of this application is that this voluminous work, this private entity with zero experience of voter awareness, requiring hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to go to every house, they want to do it for free to the government. They say we'll do it free of cost. This entity, as also two other entities, one Chilume Enterprises Private Limited and one DAP Hombale Private Limited. I am sure the word rings a bell to you. I repeat, DAP Hombale Private Limited, if I am pronouncing it correctly. They have common directors and owners. The common link being a gentleman called Krishnappa Ravi Kumar. What does the other two companies do? They publicly profess, if you go to them, they say we are election management companies. And the interesting part they say, and I quote unquote, they say we do EVM preparation. Please mark, EVM preparation for political parties. I have heard EVM preparation by government for elections. I have never heard a company which does EVM preparation for political parties. That must be a unique first. And it doesn't end here. They also offer temporary polling personnel from every branch of government. So you want a particular officer, that's how I understand, simple English, and I can be wrong for I come from a village, you may know it better. If I say I can provide all election officers for you, that's what it means. And they do so not for government, but for political parties. The same company also runs a voter app, private survey app called Digital Samiksha. And the company claims that Digital Samiksha app provides services to political parties as represented by Mr. Shiv Kumar, to MPs, to MLAs, to corporators, to aspirants. Fair enough, somebody is doing a business. On being granted permission to do voter survey for entire Bengaluru by the order of 20th of August 2022, they commit the first fraud of collecting voter data by impersonating themselves as block level officers, BLO. Booth level officers, sorry. Booth level officers. Booth level officers, as we all know, are government officers responsible for conducting verification of votes, addition, deletion. And they do so in cahoots with, obviously, the minister in charge, who is Mr. Basuraj Bommai himself, BBMP, which is controlled for last 3 years by BJP government and Mr. Basuraj Bommai in absence of elected representatives, and the election authority. They also issue them BLO cards. Next time you will find in Mr. Bommai's government, somebody will issue a IAS officer, principal secretary to CM card to a contracted employee. And they will say these 100 are secretary science, secretary technology, etc., etc. These are the cards that they issue. These are the set of cards that they issue. Each one of them has word BLO printed on them. Posing as officers of government of Karnataka, what they proceed to do is they go house to house and they collect information for every voter, their caste, gender, sex, address, marital status, Aadhaar card number, email, cell phone number, all this they take away. And what do they do with this information? They don't upload it on Garuda, the app which is of Election Commission of India. They upload it on Digital Samiksha, which is an app owned by a private company for commercial payment for use by MPs, MLAs, corporators, political parties. They upload it there. This is the third crime they commit. Number one, impersonate themselves as government officers. 2, issue fake identity cards to everybody. 3, go and collect information from a voter which they cannot do. And 4, upload that information onto their own digital app so that they can sell it for commercial gain. They also subcontract, number 5, this work to agencies across Bengaluru. So I give it to him, to him, to him, to him. So while I am committing murder, I am also subcontracting murder to 10 other people. You also go and commit murder on my behalf. And voters, gullible voters, simple voters of Bengaluru, they give information thinking they are all government officers. Last fact is the proximity of this so-called kingpin Krishnappa Ravi Kumar, also to a senior minister in the government, a former deputy chief minister. That is apparent from some pictures that have now, since yesterday, come into public domain. And they are here, I want to show them to you. This is the gentleman in front of you. And these are the birthday celebrations, making him eat cakes, etc. To anybody in public eye, this proves a very intriguing relationship. After all, a deputy chief minister or a senior minister doesn't go to feed you cakes or come to your birthday parties ever. There must be some reason. And lastly, all these companies are situated in Malleshwaram, which is the constituency of the minister.
16th, 17th class.
And when one set of journalists confront them, they say we are backed by influential politicians in Karnataka. So friends, the fraud, the impersonation, the identity theft, the dishonest misappropriation of property, misuse of stolen property, criminal breach of trust, criminal conspiracy, and many other offences Mr. Ponnanna and others have pointed out, they are now apparent on part of Minister in charge, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, who is also the Chief Minister, government officers, BBMP officers, and sadly, election authority. Our questions, we have some questions from them, and then I will ask PCC President and CLP leader and other colleagues to take over. Question number 1 to Mr. Basavaraj Bommai. Who permitted a private entity, Chilume, to act on behalf of Election Commission and BBMP? Simple question to be asked. How were government orders 29 January, 20th August 2022 issued giving authorization to this private entity? They apply 19th August, they get permission on 20th August. Wonderful. They might as well applied on 20th August or 21st and got permission on 20th. Number 2, Mr. Bommai, why was an advertisement not ordered to be issued by you as in charge minister, BBMP or the election authority, either one of the three, before giving election work to a private entity? It's like the Morbi Bridge, if I may compare. BJP government in Gujarat is doing that and Mr. Bommai is doing it here. Why did you not advertise? Who recommended? There are, I am told, about 50,000 NGOs and such private entities in Karnataka. How did you dream that came to your mind? Who recommended this private entity in the first instance to you? Why was Minister in charge, Mr. Bommai, BBMP, Election Authority? None of them checked the antecedents, the work experience of this private entity, and why did you not get alerted by the absolutely suspicious offer saying I will cover each household in entire Bangalore free of cost? I will charge no money from the government. Was it not enough to raise an alarm on the malintent of the entity? Does it not prove that actually minister in charge, the chief minister here, BBMP chief commissioner and the election authority all were in cahoots in stealing the electorate's right to vote? Number 3, how was a private entity permitted to collect personal information of each one of our Kannadiga brothers and sisters in all constituencies of Bangalore? Is it not a clear-cut theft? It's nothing short of theft, a breach of privacy, and a fraud played upon every innocent voter in Bangalore. Number 4, how can contracted employees of a private entity masquerade themselves as government officers of Karnataka. And we also issued block level officers' identity cards, booth level officers' identity card. Under section 13B2 of the Representation of People Act, only a government servant, a servant in semi-government entity or a local body can be a BLO, nobody else. That's the law. Parliament has written it. Then how are employees of a private entity being permitted to be booth level officers or BLOs in violation and negation and by rejecting the letter of the law as also its spirit? Can personal data of voters, sex, gender, age, telephone number, Aadhaar number, voter ID number, marital status, all other personal information, which is now protected by a right to privacy besides other things, can it be uploaded to a commercial private app, Digital Samiksha in this case, which advertises itself that they are working for commercial gain by selling that data? To whom? To political parties, to MPs, to MLAs, to corporators. They may be very well working for BJP, for they haven't given this data to Mr. Shiv Kumar or to Mr. Siddaramaiah. Is this a concerted attempt to steal the election? My last question, friends, is what is the relationship between Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, Mr. Ashwath Narayan and these three entities? And the very fact that the three entities are based in Malleshwaram, operating out of Malleshwaram, almost adjoining houses and streets, and the minister is going and celebrating and cutting cake for the person who's the principal accused, raises a finger of suspicion on his role and responsibility. The sum and substance of this conspiracy is to deny the ordinary voter a right to vote, commit fraud, commit theft, commit impersonation. All these offences have been already committed. And the responsibility lies first and foremost at the doorsteps of in-charge minister of BBMP, which is Mr. Basavaraj Bommai. He must resign for being a conduit or a party or a patent or latent knowledge, someone having knowledge to this electoral fraud that is being played right bang in the center of the most IT savvy city of the country and the capital of the state. Nothing less, nothing more will do. Of course, election authority is responsible, BBMP is responsible, Chief Commissioner is responsible, and there has to be an FIR against Mr. Basavaraj Bommai. He has to be arrested. Anyone else committing such a serious crime would have been arrested. If you were a journalist, if you had even done 5% of that, you wouldn't have got a bail for 3 months. Chief Minister has to go behind bars and a full investigation has to take place. I would now request my senior colleagues.
Who has to do the investigation?
Who has to do the investigation? This investigation, the guilty person is sitting at the topmost echelons of power prima facie. The rest has to come out in the investigation. So it has to be completed within 30 days under direct supervision of Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what the end of justice called for. And my compliments to all the journalists who have been pursuing this, my colleague Mr. Rizwan Arshad, George Saab, Ramalinga Reddy ji, many other friends. They have also been actively pursuing it. My compliments to them also. That an electoral fraud which would have led to stealing the election has been exposed. The matter is in People's Court. Party will take some necessary follow-up actions. Mr. Siddharamaiah, Mr. Shivkumar will speak to you about them. I also want to take your liberty because I have another engagement and they are here to answer all the questions. I now request CLP leader and PCC president to brief you.
You are leaving or you will be?
I'm going to take permission and go.
Then you answer the question.
No, sir. Then may I respectfully say, both our PCC president, CLP leader, and people who have conducted their own investigation, the working president, our MLA, our senior colleagues are all here. I have only spoken based on what they have investigated and they have come out with.